May 2021, somewhere in the hills near Florence, Toscana, I'm on the way to meet Stefanie and Rasmus, a very amazing couple.
Rasmus and Stefanie, I'm very glad to meet you and to finally meet you again after 8 years, because I was at your place. You were my host in Copenhagen when I visited Copenhagen, Denmark with my daughter. I followed you on internet, on Facebook, and I always was amazed what happened in your life. So it was in 2013 we met, and then suddenly there was Stefanie on your side. How did you met, and how did it start between you?
Well, I met him the same way that you met him. He was my Airbnb host in Copenhagen also. So, and I was only supposed to stay in Copenhagen for 3 days. And I think on the second day already when I first arrived, we started talking quite a bit. And then I think on the second day he asked if I had to go back to New York.
Because you are from America.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I said, I don't know why. What is it? And he said, well, I'm going to the south of France on Thursday. Maybe you could come with me and we can get to know each other better.
Okay.
And so I said, okay. And I think that's something that really draws us together, is that we aren't really afraid of life or taking chances. We really go for it, and we feel in our hearts like, okay, like when it must have taken him some courage, right, to ask me that, and
of course,
for just meeting.
It's just because you had just some heart beating when you saw him the first time.
Yeah, it just felt natural. It was like weirdly natural.
Okay.
I mean, she gave me courage, kind of.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah. Sometimes you just know where to go, you know, and then you just gotta step up and do it.
And you had a life in New York. You lived in New York. And what is your story before you met him?
I was working in comedy and acting and writing.
Oh.
Yeah. I did some modeling in New York and worked in some fashion.
So you didn't have a normal job that you had to quit when you went. You went with him to France.
I was also an Airbnb host. That's what made me the most money. So if I was away from my apartment, I made more money than if I lived in New York and paid for my own rent. So I said, well, I have someone coming to my place anyway. I just tell them, hire someone. In New York, everything is easy because there's so many people who want a job. You can say, hey, can you go to this apartment and clean it for me? And then it's just no problem. So I did that, and then I ended up going to France.
And it was not easy to say, okay, let's try, let's find out how it works, if it works. Yeah. And then you went to France. And then it was clear that your ways going together, that you want to stay together.
Pretty much. Yeah. I pretty much knew.
Knew
that was it. Then we came back. Stephanie went home, and we ended up like she would come back to Denmark, but in the meanwhile we're like, hey, let's meet in the middle. So I bought a return to Iceland, and she bought a stopover with Iceland. And then we spent I think 2 weeks in Iceland, just driving around
in a camper,
like a 4x4 with the pop-up camper, and I bought like 2 sleeping bags we could sit together. And actually, even already back then, I brought the ring.
Really?
I was like, oh, maybe I asked
so sure.
My mom was like, this is the ring that's been in the family, and she also knew, the south of France, we went there. It's my parents' house.
His parents were there.
So I just brought, hey, let's go.
We
my parents' house.
Already
and you agreed and said, okay, let's do it. Yeah. Let's get married.
And my mom was like,
well, no, he didn't give me the ring. He brought it, but he didn't give it to me. Okay. Or he didn't propose.
No, I brought it in Iceland, but I was
just
like,
in case.
Maybe maybe it was too soon, to ask like, hey, but.
How many times was it between the first meeting and the Iceland thing?
We met in August, the same year.
I think we met in September.
Yeah.
And we went in October to Iceland.
Okay, and then you get married the following year.
And then in November he came to stay with me in New York. And then you stayed for a few months. I was also working in LA and New York, so we were back and forth, or at least I was. And then
I think I had a 6-month visa, and then
in May.
Then we went back.
You maybe went back before, but then in May I went back to Europe, and we were there for a few months. And then I officially moved to Copenhagen. Yeah. Like pretty much a year after we met. Okay.
And you told me that your income was also from Airbnb. Your existence was from Airbnb as well.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah. I finished my architecture degree there, and then I kind of worked on and off different projects. And Airbnb came along while I was actually in New York when I started Airbnb, but that was I don't remember the year. But it's before this, obviously. Yeah.
And then you get married and you get some kids. I know them now. They're very cute. Leon and Via or Vaya? Via, yeah. They came very fast then, or did you? Yeah. So getting married, getting children. Oh, then what happened when this dream about this castle came? What was the turning point to saying, oh, we want to buy a castle?
I think already when we met in Copenhagen, when she was first a guest, we talked a lot about like how cool it was to do Airbnb, both of us, because Airbnb attracts a lot of, or used to, I don't know, we didn't do a lot of Airbnb in 2020 and 21, but back then it was so new, and everybody traveling with Airbnb, you actually would go there to meet the host, so it's a very open community, and Airbnb created the trust. Yeah. And for me, this trust is kind of like the key to world peace. If you trust everybody, there's you kind of lose a lot of drama. So. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of those people that came was very open. Yeah. And very wow, I meet strangers. Yeah. And we're because both of us met people from all over the world. Yes. All cultures, all kind of cool people. And how would it be to create a place like that where people just come from every culture, from
more open.
Yeah. So you have that in common. It's the same. Yeah. Thinking of a cosmopolitan being, or a global player being, or a nomad being. That was something in common you had all from the beginning on. Yeah. And then was the question how to create a place.
Yeah, we looked many places. When we were in LA, we drove around.
LA in Los Angeles.
We looked in Big Sur forest, Magic Forest, and Topanga Canyon, and we looked many places.
A lot of expensive places to buy land. Crazy. He's an architect, so we thought we would build something like some treehouse village or something that. Yeah. And then, one of our friends, we said, oh, we're looking at this, piece of land or something. And I think it was a joke when she said, whoa, you could buy a castle for that price. And we were like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. We didn't get the joke.
It wasn't meant as a real suggestion, but we took it as one. Yeah. So then I had started a company in Copenhagen. And it was doing really well. It was a comedy theater and school, and I loved it. And
you worked like a teacher? or
Yeah.
like the director?
Like an artistic director of the theater and also a teacher and performer.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would perform in shows and teach classes, and it meant a lot to me to teach people, to become open and to be able to say yes, not just in a scene, but also in life.
Yes.
And it really felt people growing, and he was like, well, what about our dream, you know? I'm like, but I was really focused on that, and we also had a daughter, like, she was only 1 when I started it. But then I got in an accident where I was at the theater, and somehow I got pushed down the stairs and got smashed with like beer bottle, and I had a concussion, and I was
Concussion means, sorry?
where like my brain was swelling.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
Like really dangerous headache.
Yeah, was in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was pregnant with Leon at the time when I had fell, and my partners were very unhappy that I had that I was pregnant again because I could not work so much, and now I have this concussion and I cannot work. And my little brother's wedding was in the U.S. I really wanted to go. We're very close, and it just felt like all of these things were like, it's not the place for me anymore.
Yeah. So it's like a sign.
I don't know.
Or it was just a rupture.
An ending point, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I knew I didn't want to live like that, where someone else had complete control of my life, or I felt like I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. So it didn't feel how it did in the beginning, which was, you know, I was really passionate about it and was enjoying it. And I didn't want to be partners with someone who just didn't feel the same way about life, which was my priorities were my health and my family, and they wanted my priorities to be work.
Yeah.
So we talked about, okay, if we ever go into business, it's with each other, because I can never do a partnership again because it fails so miserably. So yeah, when we were in south of France again at the house that we fell in love, we opened up the laptop and Rasmus Googled castles for sale, and then Google suggested Italy, and we said, okay.
And it was this castle.
That's when we found this castle.
At the first sight?
Pretty much. I looked at them, but this one
was
kind of...
the first proposal,
and
you said, okay, let's see it, and then you said, you were here, and you said, oh wow.
Yeah.
And it was affordable.
In a way.
Kind of, yeah. It was weirdly... We came together in a weird way.
Yeah.
The day it happened, I got an email from my family that said we're using a summer house that was in the family that belonged to my grandmother's big brother, and we were staying there while we were when we had the kids. It was like very small, tiny, cozy.
No shower.
Kind of rustic. So,
rusty.
but I got an email that said we couldn't use it anymore. We're not taking care of it the proper way. Blah blah blah. I was like basically kicked us out, and it made me really angry. And I was like, what's going on? And then I was like, did some yoga and meditating, and then I kind of realized in the meditation that this place was the last physical memory I had of my grandfather, which meant a lot to me.
Yes,
it was like, he taught me to be creative. He was like an inventor, so I would play around his basement and learn a bunch of stuff. And then I was like, okay, thank you. Thank you for that, and let go of that summer house. And then on the way out of my grandfather, I was like, hey, can you show me the way, you know? Let's,
you talked to him?
No, I didn't talk to him.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, show me a sign, you know, if you're there.
Good.
And then that evening we did that Googling, and then when this one popped up, and Stephanie wrote them an email, we're very rich, we're gonna buy your castle, blah, 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 whatever. We kind of like get into this the stage?
No, I had to call the realtor to make the appointment, and I felt like a fraud.
A fraud, afraid.
No,
A
like
fraud?
I was
Like
a fake, like.
You
because
thought you
we
were.
didn't have money, and,
I-
and you feel like to get a property like this, you have to be very rich, or you have to have some investors or something. We didn't have any of that. And
Så tog nas upp. Så tog nas upp för fraud. Okay.
So I felt like I didn't want to, waste their time or whatever. We show up like. So I called and, I tried to sound like very sophisticated and wealthy. And I knew what was
basically
going
fake
on.
it till you make it. That's what they say.
Yes.
Like if you want to be an
Yes.
entrepreneur, this is what it means. Like you gotta believe it a little bit, even though you don't believe it. You gotta like believe a little bit.
Yes.
Of it.
Approaching your dreams
And
by simulating it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like law of attraction. You gotta believe it to create it, kind of. So.
And Airbnb, in a way, brought us to this castle too, as well as us together, because at that time they had this program where they were giving away money for some kind of startup things like this. So I believed that we could get startup money from them to start this, and that's the only reason that I didn't stop us from getting it, because otherwise I'd been like, there's no way, there's no way, we can't do it, how can we do it, and just come up with all the excuses. But because there was like that far off in the distance, which we didn't get anything from them, they, I don't know what programs they chose.
To go on the way to it
But
helped
just
you to
because-
trust. It could
I
be
had
perhaps
that in my head that that's how it could work. So I didn't stop us from dreaming.
And manifesting.
Manifesting.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of mind stuff. As I listen to you, you do a lot with your mind, with your vision, with your imaginary.
Yeah.
Imagination.
Yeah, there's like the logo is kind of like that. Body, mind, and heart. You gotta like, and in the middle is like where you go, kind of.
Shine the light.
Oh wow.
Kind of like
okay, that's very interesting.
You imagine, you feel it in your heart, you kind of believe it. The mind kind of figures it out.
Yes.
Or stops it.
Yes.
And then, if you activate the heart and the mind, then the body can do it. Can walk there.
Yeah. I believe in that, but I'm surprised that you do it as well. That's very, very great.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
and then in the end, you got it.
Yeah, we showed up, and this old man, the previous owner, looks like my grandfather, basically. He took out my kid, Leon, and carried him around. He was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. We didn't speak Italian, he didn't speak English, but I just felt, it's my grandfather. But it was not. It felt like it's. I still see him sometimes, and it still feels like he showed me how to cut the olive trees, and like he showed me a bunch of stuff, and he's also creating a lot of problems. But it's like he's kind of have a bad reputation there, and we found out after. But to me, it's like he's still helping in a sense. It's like he's teaching me stuff I need to learn, and it doesn't necessarily mean holding my hand.
It's like a godfather, like a pate. Or something, it helps you to bring it to the best.
Yeah. Yeah, and he made this whole deal possible. He was like, okay, let's. He kind of knew some tricks. Yeah. That's good for him and good for us, and maybe.
Yeah. And when did you start? When did you start to? When did you move?
October 17th.
17th.
2017.
With 2 kids. From Copenhagen to Tuscany.
Mia was 2 and Leon was about 5 months.
Yeah. And how was it in the beginning?
Exciting.
Exciting.
It was super cool, They were kind of working the whole place.
I can't even remember.
Okay. You were busy with the kids?
Yeah, it was.
And a website.
It was strange.
Yeah.
It was strange. Yeah, we actually started booking right away. I mean, we got here October 17th, and I said, okay, Halloween party, October 31st. I started, making all of these plans. Yeah. We had a big Christmas thing for families.
So you were good on marketing? You were good on marketing?
New Year's Eve, we were booked solid, and the whole next spring, we were booked out.
Oh, great. It started from the beginning on.
Yeah.
But that's because I tried everything. I said yes to everyone and everything, and then I had to keep up with it, right?
So you were busy and you were very excited.
I was also busy. I had many hats, cleaning toilets, making pizzas, washing hands before, all that, what do we need, was doing what? I was a driver, I was
and something else
okay, we need firewood, let's go to the forest, cut them down, just learning, but I like that. I like the movement and the learning. Yeah. That's also in the logo. Yeah. Learn and give. All the projects we do is gotta earn a little bit, gotta learn a little bit, and gotta give a little bit. So.
Yeah. Was there a point when you were overwhelmed or überfordert? Was it overwhelmed?
Yeah, every point. I still am overwhelmed.
Still?
Yeah.
Because it's huge.
Yeah.
I discovered a little bit now the tower. That's only the tower, but there are 2 or 3 other houses and the landscape, the forest. It's huge.
We have 30 apartments, 2,000 olive trees, 40 hectares with chestnut. We have 100 beehives. And we have next week we're planting 20,000 cannabis plants.
Yes.
So we do olive oil, CBD oil, honey, cannabis beer,
and 6 ducks and 7 chickens.
Oh yes, they're so cute. So in the beginning you were just the 2 of you, or did you had help from the beginning on?
It was mostly just the 2 of us.
With the 2 kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guests would end up helping. It was very community feeling in the beginning. We tapped into a huge group of world schoolers, where families travel. Instead of homeschooling, they school in the world. So they travel around. Yeah. And they would stay here for a month and hang out, and we would hang out with them. And then at the events, they were they would see how busy we were and how.
Yeah, and they helped you.
Yeah, they're you guys need help. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Stephanie's running around with Leon and this backpack you have here normally, but she had it on the back. Yeah. And she was
of course.
Cooking for 70 people.
Yes. Yes. It's amazing.
But it's you had the excitement, so it's not it was
It's there's a hormone. What is the hormone that kicks you?
Serotonin.
There's
which one?
I don't know.
Endorphin.
Endorphin. You get some. You get all these hormones when you are in excited.
Yeah.
Then you have high energy and you do it.
Yeah, you say yes to life. You're you get full flavor of everything in life.
Yeah. You make it this far, you have to keep going.
And you were happy. You were happy for the decision.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still am. I mean, the motto we have is let's make a decision and make it the right one.
Yeah.
You get this chance to buy a huge castle in Tuscany and live your dream, and you say no.
How can you live with that?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
So we're okay, this. If it takes, we're in the beginning, we're okay, we'll give ourselves 3 years to make it happen. Where we're just we don't judge anything, we just observe, we just do whatever needs to be done. And that's you jump and you hold on to get to the next floor, but it's like a ceiling, and you have to just hang there one hand and hack with the other one. Yeah. And you don't really know how thick the ceiling is. Yeah. You just keep hacking, let's get through this, let's make it. Yeah. And then...
But then something really weird and sad happened.
Yeah, you notice I'm already quiet because I know it's the next topic.
Yeah, I know. But would it possible to talk a bit about it? Because it's... it's really frightening, sad.
Yeah.
What happened?
All the things.
Rolling. This is our honey. It's Millefiori, which is like 1,000 flowers. And I think we might have more than 1,000 flowers out there. It's full of just driving. Today the tractor was like, oh no, I don't want to drive on the mint or the chamomile or whatever weird flowers out there. And all the bees and these weird butterflies and ladybugs. And it's just like, it's full of animals there. It's really, really alive, you know. So, and they all collect honey, like all the bees. We take some of the honey to use, and then we sell it.
Great.
It's very dark and it really has like a very particular taste that I only tasted here. So I use it in dressing with the olive oil. I make my own Negroni, like a different Negroni where I use honey, the olive oil. We have 2,000 trees. We harvest in October manually, so then we go to the press right away. And we're so high up, so there's no, like it matures a month later than the rest of Tuscany. And we're so far away from all the wines and all the other farms, so there's nothing that's sprayed here. We're so far from everything. Like if you're lower down, you're close to one that's not bio, but we're biologic up here. So we have the little one. This one also comes in a liter. Then we have the half liter, which is our selected. So we take them a little bit before to make sure there's no frost, because that changed the flavor a little bit. And it's full of like all the good things. We did a test and it's like, it's if you never had real olive oil, you have to try this, or at least like a biologic Tuscan one. I recommend it. That's kind of like what I want to give to people. Taste what can be. So.
Yeah, in the US, my mom asked, what olive oil is real? Like, what can I get that's, because I told her, a lot of it is just mixed with sunflower oil or other cheap oils or old rancid oils just to spread it out. And she showed me in the supermarket aisle. I was like, I don't think any of those are real olive oil, because they're almost clear. It's like it needs to be thick and green.
Because nature is so amazing. So if you do the least possible and have it there, it's good. Like you cut it and eat it. Boom. So that's what we do. The beer is really, really, really interesting. Like hops, Humulus lupulus and cannabis sativa is in the same family. So you can actually take the cannabis plant and clone it onto the hops, and they will grow. There's only 2 plants that will do it. So they share a lot of terpenes and a lot of the compounds in there. So we chose a strain that's really, like they call it kiwi, I think, but it's not really kiwi. It's like a different, because it's a legal version of that. So it's like, but it has a very citrusy. So and then the beer is just like made without any mistakes. That's basically when you make beer, you don't wanna, like with a wine, it's funny when it's like it's like a little bit over or something. It's like when it's weird and not good, it becomes good. With beer, you just wanna make it without mistakes. So that's what we aim for, and then
it's very tasty. We tasted it last day.
It's really nice. Most people that taste it, they're like, I don't like beer, and then
they taste it.
I like this beer.
It's really nice.
It's very it's very feminine, I would say, but I can drink it all day. By the pool, the right temperature, foamy. It's good.
So all your products, you have a shop. You ship it also.
Ship it worldwide.
And they arrive safe.
Yeah.
No complaints so far.
So far, so good.
Good.
Yeah, we also have CBD oil made from here, where we mix our own olive oil and our own honey, and then we extract the cannabis in a laboratory. So it's like it's, done the right way. Then we mix it all, and
perfect.
it's good.
Very good.
And the
So
CBD oil that he made, he brought it to me in the hospital, and it's one of the only times I could sleep is when I would take this.
Really?
I couldn't open the bottle myself. I would have to ask, before you leave, or don't forget, open the bottle before you leave so I can take it. But it's really nice, and I still take it at night if I'm stressed or have some panic attacks. It's really calming, but it doesn't like make you high or anything, but it's just like
it's very
I can breathe again.
CBD is very high healing, has a high healing energy.
It helped a lot.
It creates like equilibrium. Kind of like that's kind of why it makes sense for us to grow the cannabis with the CBD. Like it fits in with the vision and the logo, like the balance of things, because it's just like, I don't know what it is. It's nature. It works. Most people I talk to is like, whoa.
Great.
My friend of mine was like, has a daughter that, I don't know, has some diagnosis probably, but he's like, I gave him a bunch of stuff. It was I saw him, haven't seen him in a long time. Like, oh, try my beer, try my honey, and then try the CBD. And it's like he wrote me the same night. Like, this is a miracle. She's sleeping the first night. She's like, and it's like,
great.
Happy to share, because
it's also on the shop.
Yeah, it will be probably very soon.
Good.
Otherwise, write in the comment. We'll get it to you if you need it.
So thank you for sharing your good stuff.
Thank you.
You cut it and eat it. Boom. So that's what we do.